Thank you for Patreon now for donating to the Patreon.
Hey guys, it's Vandy as well, back in another Card Fight Vanguard deck profile. If you enjoyed, don't like, comment, subscribe, and donate to the Patreon. Let's get started, shall we? Today we have Lyrical Monasterio Herminia deck profile. So Herminia, the powerful one, the one that I think we all thought was going to be really good, or at least I thought it'd be really good compared to Fortia. Dude, fucking Herminia sucks. Like, I don't know if it's just my build. Actually, I don't think it's just my build, because I saw other people do Herminia with similar builds. God, Herminia gets slapped by almost everything. And yeah, this is Herminia's first set, but from what I've seen and from what I've played, Herminia stands a chance against nothing. Like, I've seen it go against the Troutix. I've seen it go against fucking Fortia. Fortia destroys this. It's a fun deck to play, I will admit to that, but you call its effect powerful, and it's not even powerful. It's weak. It gets bitch slapped by everything. Well, let's go ahead and get it started, and then maybe someone can prove me wrong. First up, I started today's cutie topic, Rabina. Grade 0, boost 5k, shield 6k base, auto, and upon if you went second, draw a card. So standard starter building, nothing too special about it. Something I hate about this card, something I hate about the entirety of the two new ride lines, is that they have no focus, and it's not just my opinion, because I did end up getting this from someone else, but they have no focus. Like, the other ride lines, if they were, for Lorinal, it was all cat girls. For Acestus, it was all mermaids, more or less. For, what was it? For Celestials, they were all angels, etc. Like, they all had a theme. This one literally goes War Beast, Vampire, I think it is. I don't remember what the grade 2 is. I'm going to call it human, and same with Herminia, that's also a human. Like, there is no simple theme with them, and I greatly question why. Why did they throw away that aspect? Were they just out of ideas? If they were, they could have just used the other ones, and instead of just making them random. But sure, Rabina's Star Starter. Over trigger, we want one over trigger in Greatest Star and Turnanza. Grade 0 boost, 50k shield, 5k base. Over trigger, even though I won't over trigger your deck, reveals a card and move that card, draw a card. Choose one of you, it gets +1 million for the turn. If revealed during your drive check, activate additional effect, which is during this fight, you get during your turn all your cards is +10. So, regardless of when you check it, as long as you check it, you get +1 million in a draw, which is really nice for defensive and really good for offensive. And not to mention that the drive check ability is amazing because it basically makes your board immortally good. Now, if you pull this over trigger with Herminia, you are almost guaranteed to win because you can force out numbers that your opponent should not be able to guard easily, and you can still get a decent amount of multi-attack. However, there's no point to this. No point to this. Don't bank on this being your win con. If this is your win con, you already know your deck is bad. If you are relying solely on this to win, you know your deck is bad and you should not be playing it, because I'm not saying Herminia's bad, but from what I've seen, it's been getting hit and knocked around by, like, everything. I've seen Herminia win a grand total of 1 game out of the 20 games I have played, and out of the 30 games I have seen people play. So out of 50 games, it's won once. Take that as you will, but Estonia's, it's our final overture, I guess. And trigger-wise, normal-wise, we run 3 draw triggers in Transparent, Snowy Night, and Bertoi. Grade 0 boost, 5k shield, 4k base. Draw trigger continues guard circle if your opponent's vanguards are grade 3 guard, it gets +5k shield. Typically, if these things had a theme to them, I wouldn't be doing Rainbow with the skills, but because I have to, because they don't have a consistent theme, then I would just run Rainbow with the skill. So our 10k shield draw, our 10k shield front, 20k shield front, which does the exact same thing as the draw trigger, is just a front trigger instead, and no skip parry. And Precious Tune Edgewidge, our grade 0 with boost 15k shield, 4k base critical trigger. Alter at the end about the boost to put it to soul, choose run abuse, it gets +2 for the turn. Now, there is a play you can do in Powerful where, if I'm correct, you can, like, Soul Blast 1. There's a certain card that says 1 is discarded, Soul Blast 1, call it to rear. How you could do it is you could use boost the Vanguard with Edgewidge, use Vanguard skill first, discard that card, restand a front row unit, Edgewidge skill goes to soul, then use the skill of the grade 1 that you just discarded, Soul Blast 1, call it to board. Here's the reason why you don't run this. That involves, like, 3, first off, you have to have this crit. It does not work if you don't have the crit. 2, you need Herminia, which isn't that hard. But 3, you also need that grade 1. So 2 pieces are required for this to go off, which isn't that bad. But then that involves you constantly needing to call a crit to do it, and I don't think a lot of you really want to lose 15 shield constantly when you have no reason to, just to pull off 1 extra attack that might not make that difference unless you do it multiple times in a row. So, Edgewidge, if you want to run the combo, you can. I don't, because I'm not going to sacrifice a deck piece for it, but it's 4 of crit, 4 of front for power, 3 of draw to try to net hand cards. And then we have our 4 heals and Hot Relaxing Fablia, grade 0, boost 15k shield, 5k base. Nothing too special about it. Grade 1 time. 3 copies of Fluent Smile Mylene. Grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base. Act rearguard circle once per turn. Soul Blast 1, and this unit gets powerful, which means if you have no soul cards, continuous rearguard. If you have no soul cards, this unit gets +2 for the turn. So 10k base during your turn, as long as it's in powerful. Now that's pretty good. That is decently, I mean, it's not amazing. It's good for a 10k booster. Here, and it gets rid of souls, so it can put you into powerful really easily, which is nice. Here's my thing about this. It does not have powerful inherently, and for Herminia to go off, you need to restand a rearguard of powerful, which means if this is the only thing on your board and you do not have a soul to work with, this is effectively useless. But she is one of your only cards that on rearguard can get rid of soul for an actual benefit, so Maylin's the way to go here. 3 copies. We run 4 PGs in Soapy Splash Herminia. Grade 1 boost, 0 shield, 6k base, continue 7 on 4 sounds in your deck, and auto is put on the guard circle. Choose one of your units that cannot be attended to battle, and if your hand has 2 or more cards, choose a card from hand, discard it. Standard PG, if you don't know what that means, it means that this is only one of the cards is in your hand when you would put it down on guard circle. You do not have to discard, which means you can be as aggressive as you want and still have the defensive capabilities of a PG, and that can come in helpful, especially in Herminia, where you kind of want to go aggressive, and you do, but then you don't net back the hand you need to, and the PG or your triggers get stockpiled, and then the PG is going to do its job when you get into a situation where your opponent inevitably rushes you because they remember, right, powerful for some reason has no defensive capabilities, or at least from what I've seen, they have no defensive capabilities. So 4 copies of Arena. Yeah, I if you can't tell, I'm taking this chance to shit on powerful because I expected something more from a deck that's a literal keyword was called powerful, and then literally I've seen it get slapped in the face about 49 times, and then 1 time it won, and I'm pretty sure that was just because it trigger sacked its way to victory. But 4 copies of Arena. No, it did trigger sack its way to victory. What the fuck am I saying defending it? No, it did trigger sack its way to victory. What the fuck am I, why do I care? Either way, our next grade 1 is our good grade 1. That is amazing. It carries this deck. Flapping Tone Signe. Grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base. Powerful auto rear when this unit boosts. If your soul has no cards, counter blast 1, choose one of your units, it gets plus 5k for the turn. So, really good, it has powerful ability, so you could stand it with the Vanguard if you wanted to. Counter blast, which is really nice for Herminia because it requires all your damage to be face down. Can give another unit power for the turn, and so it can give the boosted unit power, so you're at least swinging for a plus 13 on that swing, and then if you restand that unit, it's going to be better for you because it has the 5k on it, but also auto rear. At the end of the battle that it boosted anything, if you have a Vanguard powerful, stand this unit, and then choose a card from soul to put into drop zone. That is a mandatory effect. Now, I did say earlier that Mylene was the only card in the deck that can get you a Soul Blast and then still give you a benefit. The reason why I worded it that way, yes, standing this unit for free is, yes, a great benefit. The reason why I don't count this towards that is because it stands regardless if you Soul Blast or not. Because it says stand this unit, and then you get rid of a soul card. So you complete the skill as much as possible. So stand. Even if you don't have the soul, you keep standing, as long as it's boosted. So Signe is amazing. Hard carries this deck. I think the only thing that kind of holds it back at this point is like the amount of good powerful cards we had. If we have slightly more good powerful cards, and some of them that could possibly stand themselves, even if it was once per turns, or hard once per turns, Signe could definitely carry them a lot more. Either way, Signe is amazing, getting that extra boost, and being able to counterbalance one and give another unit 5k, and makes attacks more powerful. So 4 copies of Signe. And then 1 copy in the main deck, 1 copy in the right deck of Sniping Eiffel Lara J. Grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base. Act Vanguard or Rearguard, Soul Blast 1, discard 1, and draw a card. Once per turn, by the way. Yeah, this is the only other card in this deck to my memory that does the same as Meilin in terms of actually Soul Blasting, but it's not really for benefit. Like, you don't get a hand card, you swap a hand card. You're only really losing a soul, which is fine, and you can use it on Vanguard Circle. And then powerful, if that's on Vanguard Circle, continuous. If your soul has no cards, cool, ride this. Soul Blaster starter, boom, you already have no cards. When you would ride a Trach Peach Urtinez from your ride deck, you may ride from your ride deck without discarding a card. I don't think that his ability is bad. I like that ability. The fact that literally, considering the grade 2 and the grade 1 both have that same skill to the point where you only have to discard for the starter's ride to the grade 1. The reason why I hate this is because both of them have that skill, and that is so boring, and I wish one of them had a different skill. But they have powerful, so it makes it okay, because they're worst case scenario, they're at least targets for the restand of the Vanguard skill. So one of in the main deck of Lyrical and one in the right deck, because she can be useful in the main deck, because that first skill was amazing for being able to Soul Blast. Grade 2 time. 4 copies of my Ensemble Narrow. You run this at 4, regardless. If you can't afford it, then don't play Powerful. If you can't afford this, don't play Powerful, because this is what carries the deck. But if you can afford this, at least try. Anyways, Nara, grade 2 intercept 5k shield 10k base. All one is placed on the rearguard circle during your main phase. Counterboss 1, choose a card from your soul, call to an open rearguard circle, then choose a card from your hand. Choose a card from your hand for each card in your soul and discard it. So if you have no soul, you don't discard anything. But for some reason, you have 6 soul, which I question how you're going to win now. You discard 6. Powerful auto rear when it swings into a grade 3 greater Vanguard. If you have no soul cards, it gets +5 for the turn. So you swing with Nara, boosted by Signe. Use Signe skill, counterboss 1. So combine their 2 skills together. This is a 20k swing with the boost of an 8k, so 28k swing. Cool, they guard it or not. Signe restands. Vanguard Herminia swings, you sack triggers and you put them all on Nara. Let's assume you don't pull triggers. Skill of Vanguard discard, stand this thing, and then the next counterblast is free. Signe or reduced by 1. Signe and Nara go again. This is already 28. This gets another +5 from her skill, and then this skill is free, so you give another +5, so this is 38 without Persona Rides. And triggers. Okay, yeah, Nara's pretty good. Gets numbers for free. Get you counterblast usage, and can get you a board. And can possibly make you discard, but that's probably never going to happen in this deck. So, Nara's really good. I do like Nara. Her and Signe are probably the only 2 cards in this deck that I say are actually useful, outside of Herminia, which is obviously useful because it's the main grade 3, and even then I greatly question that decision. So, 4 copies of Nara, because you want to run this at 4 of free field. Or not free field, actually no, it is free field. And then we have our last grade 2. Yes, we only have 2 grade 2s. We do run an order, though, of Attract Peach Urtinez. 3 copies in the main deck, 1 copy in the right deck. Grade 2, intercept 5k, shield 10k base. Continues Vanguard, rearguard during the battle that attacks. Gets +2. Okay, at least it can attack anything and it gets +2. And then Powerful continues Vanguard. If your soul has no cards, when you would ride Coming Beauty Herminia from your right deck, you may ride it without discarding a card. Basically, what this thing does. Now, you may be wondering, why are we running a card that has no powerful ability on rearguard, but is a 12k swing in the deck at 3 of in the main deck? Here's why. There are only a grand total of 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 powerful cards, minus Herminia, to my memory, that are in the main deck, and this is one of them. We don't have much options, is what I'm trying to get at here. So, 3 copies of Routine is because when worse comes to worse, you have something that can restand. So 3 in the main deck, 1 in the right deck. Don't call it unless it's an absolute bad decision. Don't call it unless you actually need to. Then into grade 3s. We'll get to the order later, that's a grade 2. Grade 2 copies of Serious Eyes Lilina. Grade 3 to Persona Ride, 13k base. Powerful auto rear. When it swings into something, if your soul has no cards, counterboss more than the scene gets +10. For the battle. So 23k swing. Unfortunately, it's for the battle. If it was for the turn, I think it would have to be a double rare, but god, that is still good. It's a 23k swing. And if you use Herminia skill with it, it's a free 23k swing next time. Combine it with Signe, 31k swing. Only slightly worse than Nara, but that's still something over nothing. So Lilina is really good. 2 of big numbers. Boosted by Birdie with Rainbow Wings. Power. Then we have 2 copies of Bathing Fountain Teluez. Teluez. Grade 3 turns out Persona Red, 13k base. Powerful auto rear when this unit attacks a Vanguard. If your soul has no cards, counterblast 1, and this unit gets auto rear when this unit attack hits, draw a card, and until end of battle, choose one of your other units and it gets +5 for the turn. So, first off, the first skill is it activates when it swings. Counterblast 1, it gets the on-hit draw skill. But then, separate from that, someone else gets +5 at that moment. So you can give it to your other front or rearguard circle, or you can just give it to the Vanguard. My thing with this is, that first half of the skill that it gains is the most useless on-hit skill I've ever seen. Yes, I know a lot of cards have an on-hit draw skill, and a lot of them I do like for that. But in those decks, those are easier to hit with. This one, they will let it hit out of pity. Because your first attack, unless it's being boosted by Signa, is probably going to be your weakest attack, because otherwise you won't boost it. So, Telus is... It's exceptionally bad. You run it just in case you really need to get hand cards, and the extra 5k can be put on the unit that Signa is actually boosting to make it hit bigger, but I don't see reasons to run it outside of that. So 2 of. I honestly suggest you might just put this at 4. The only reason I really like it is just because the way it looks really shiny. So 2 of. And then our last normal unit of the deck is our main grade 3, 3 copies in the main deck and 1 copy in the right deck of Coming Beauty Herminia. Grade 3 turns Persona Rate, 30k base, active and grab circle, counterbalance 1 that she gets plus 5 for the turn. If you notice, that is not a once per turn, which means you can do that 5 times and she gets plus 25. Except, why would you do that when literally every other card in this deck minus this and this counterblast? And this. So yeah, there's no real reason to do that more than twice a turn, because I think you will slowly take damage, so I don't think you need to do it more than twice a turn. I think 3 counterblasts is perfectly fine on first grade 3 turn. And then powerful auto van at the end of the battle that attacked. If the total number of cards in your soul and face of damage zone is 0 for both. So remember, if one of them has soul and or damage zone face up, you have to have 0. Discard a card from hand and choose one of your rear cards with powerful ability to stand and reduce the counterblast you do next time by 1. So, Alt Mile but worse. Alt Mile V but worse. Because if you don't remember what Alt Mile V was, it was counterblast everything you could, get numbers off it. At least they could get, I think it was 10k power and 5k shield to each grade 2. And then if you had an Alt Mile and Soul, they get an extra crit. Or at least the Vanguard get a free plus 15. No. For this one, you have to counterblast 3 to get that 15. 2, you have to discard 1 and specifically pick a rear guard with powerful. Thankfully, as long as it has powerful regardless of where it is on the board, it will stand. But the fact that you still have to pick a rear guard powerful kind of makes it worse. And then it reduces the counterblast by 1. What I think it should have been is stand a rear guard, and then if it had powerful, counter the next time you counterblast, it's reduced by 1, because that would have made it a lot more versatile and a lot more easier to pull off. It's still not hard to pull off, it just would have made it a lot better. The counterblast 1 reduction is fine, because you can use it with Melania next to get plus 10, or you can use it with Signa to get an extra plus 5, and those are the only 2 other cards in the deck in counterblast, or you can just use it with Telos, which I question why you would do that. But Herminia, doesn't offer much to her thing. Fortia doesn't really offer much to her rear guards either, except minus the really good grade 2 common, that I question why it's a common, but Herminia doesn't power up units. I really wish her skill was the restand. It would give plus 10 or plus 5 to make the unit hit stronger, not just meh. Because the number I told you earlier, unless there's some secret bullshit voodoo loop combo I'm not thinking of, that's probably the highest you're going to get without triggers or persona rides, which granted is fine, but Bastion can do the same thing but better, and Bastion's probably cheaper. Or at least the Bastion version I'm thinking of is definitely cheaper than this. So Herminia, as much as I think she's okay, we're gonna have to rely on set 3 set 3 Lyrica to kind of fix this. So 3 of in the main deck, 1 of in the right deck, I guess, because Persona Rides are the deck thing that kind of makes this deck dangerous. And then our last card in the deck is 4 copies of Sweet X Sweet. Grade 2, normal order, play it by counterblasting 1, look at top 5, choose it to 1 unit card from one of them, call it to a rear guard circle and shuffle your deck. Regardless if it's open or not, you get a rear guard, you pay counterblast, and you get to look at top 5, so hopefully there'll be something good in there for you. It's good. This thing works with the deck very well. It gets you a possible board out of it. That's all I can say about it. 4 of. And that's it for the deck, so I hope you guys enjoyed. All around, I did expect more from Herminia. When you call a deck's keyword powerful, you should strive to make it probably one of the stronger keywords. I know it's only first set, so it cannot be as strong as it should be. So I really hope in the future, powerful becomes a lot better. But for now, it's where it is. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join to the Patreon, join Discord, follow the Twitch, and I'll see you on next one. Don't forget to stand up your vanguards.